Hey, how's it going, everybody? This video is going to be a little different from the tutorial videos that I usually do. In this video, I wanted to talk about volunteering and ways for software engineers, computer programmers, web developers, and web designers to give back to their community. There's a great line from the book Tuesdays with Morrie when the main character was talking about giving back to your community, and he talks about not just giving back with money, but giving back with your skill set. And here's the line from that book. He says, "I don't mean money, I mean your time. It's not so hard. There's a senior center that opened near here. Dozens of elderly people come there every day. If you're a young man or a young woman and you have a skill, you're asked to come and teach it. Say you know computers, you come there and you teach computers. You're very welcome there, and they are very grateful. This is how you start to get respect, by offering something that you have." Now, I couldn't agree with this more. It's a win-win situation too, because when you share a skill that you have, not only are you helping other people, but it also helps you hone your own skills. So this got me thinking, what are some different ways in which software engineers and programmers and developers and designers, what are some ways that they can volunteer their skills and give back to the community and, overall have a positive impact on the world? Well, first of all, you could take the advice directly from the book. You could volunteer at a senior center, or you could volunteer at an assisted living home. I took this approach a few years ago. I volunteered at an assisted living home for one night a week for 2 or 3 hours, depending on the number of people who needed help. Now, I'm not mentioning this for a pat on the back or anything like that. I'm only telling you this because there's this misconception out there that elderly people aren't interested in technology. And from doing this, I know firsthand that that's just not true. They want to be connected just as much as anybody else does, and but sometimes they simply don't have the means or have the knowledge to get things up and running themselves. And not only that, but perhaps maybe the staff or other volunteers there might not have that ability to help them out either. On a typical night of this type of volunteering, you might help someone do something as simple as setting up a free Google email account so that they can start emailing their family, receiving pictures of their grandchildren. And when they do start receiving those family pictures and staying in closer contact with the family, it really does make their day. Now, the great thing about this type of volunteer work is that you don't have to be a software engineer or an expert programmer to help with these kind of issues. The things that you would do in a situation like that are very simple tasks. So, there's young kids out there who can get in there and set up email accounts and do basic computer troubleshooting, like, connecting computers to the internet and things like that. Now, if you're looking for something that involves a more in-depth skill set, then maybe you want to look into making a website for a local business free of charge. So perhaps there's a local farmer's market or a pet shelter. It's easy to get the impression that every business in your city has a website already, but there's a lot of businesses out there that don't, especially the local businesses. Also, I see a lot of developers and designers online that are always asking for advice and trying to come up with different projects that they can use to build up their portfolio. So if you're wanting to learn how to build a website or get into something like WordPress development, maybe you can build up your portfolio and help someone out at the same time. So if you have a favorite local business in town that doesn't have a website or has a bad website, then this could be a great project to take on. One thing that might be considerate, though, is that if you do decide to do this and it's one of your first websites that you've ever made, you might want to be sure to let the people know that your website might not be top quality. But most likely, if these people don't have a website already, or if they have a really bad website, then they're going to enjoy whatever additional exposure that you can provide them anyways. Even if that's just a quick and easy website that displays, their business address, business hours, contact information. If it's a restaurant, maybe their menu and things like that. Now, something else that you might want to look into is becoming a tutor. There's always opportunities to tutor people at just about any age that you're comfortable with. And, as engineers and programmers, most of you have a lot of training in math and problem solving and coding and among other things. So to check out what tutoring opportunities are available in your area, I would just recommend getting online and doing a quick Google search. And if that doesn't turn anything up, you can usually ask people at your local public library if they have anything like that available. I don't know if that's the norm or not, but personally, every town that I've ever lived in has had tutoring opportunities through their public libraries. So if that's something that interests you, then I would definitely check that out. And speaking of tutoring, I would definitely check with maybe the schools in your area and see if there's a youth first robotics program. FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It's a terrific program. It gets kids of all different ages involved in science and technology. If you check the FIRST Robotics volunteer website that I'm at now, this is usfirst.org/community/volunteers. You can find pretty much any information that you would need, how to get involved, what to expect as a volunteer, volunteer training, and how to become a mentor and a coach. Also, if you look down here at the bottom, it says that they have close to 27,000 teams worldwide. So most likely you're going to be able to find a program like this in your area. Now, if you are a female, then one organization that you might want to look into getting involved with is called Girls Who Code. So software and programming and coding is an industry that unfortunately has been pretty male dominated throughout the years. And Girls Who Code, from what I hear, is a great organization that's getting more females interested in the field of computer science. If you go to their website here, they have this tab that is Get Involved. So if you click on that, then you can see that they have a volunteering section here. And if you look down through the volunteering opportunities here, they've got a few listed, as well as becoming an instructor at a Girls Who Club or a Girls Who Code club. So that would be a great one to check out. Now, everything that I've mentioned so far has involved personal interaction in order to volunteer. But if tutoring or helping in person isn't something that you're comfortable with, then perhaps you could always try answering people's questions online at websites like Stack Overflow or Reddit or some other online forums. Now, I'm sure this wouldn't be considered official public service in any court of law or anything like that, but I personally consider it a form of volunteering for sure. And this is also something that I've been wanting to do more of myself. And for any of those people who answer questions on these sites who might be watching this video, I would just like to give a big thank you because, at this point, I definitely receive a much larger benefit from these sites than the amount that I contribute to them. Some people put in a ton of time answering questions on these sites. Some of these detailed answers could be entire articles themselves. And the people who answer those questions, they don't get anything from the time that they put in other than a thank you and maybe some reputation points or something like that. There is an added bonus to being active in these communities. It's something that you can point a potential future employer to. You can point them to the answers that you've given on these websites and prove how well that you know your stuff. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting your volunteer efforts on a resume or anything like that. Now, somewhat similar to answering questions online, you can also start your own blog or your own YouTube channel. Start writing and making videos about problems that you've run into and how you solve them. You can share your knowledge that way. Now, this is kind of cheating because if there was one thing on the list of things that I'm going to show you in this video that I don't necessarily consider volunteer work, it would be your own blog or your own YouTube channel, because you can always put ads on your blog articles and on your videos, and if those become popular enough, then you'll get a little bit of money kicked back your way for that. But I would still recommend that people do this if they can and if they have the time to do it, because not only will it help you learn more about the topics that you write about, but you never know how many people will run into those exact same problems that you have and then find your solution online. Now, another thing that you can do is contribute to open source projects. There's a lot of open source projects out there that help people in need. I would recommend checking out GitHub's showcases page here and see if there's something there that interests you. You can see here that they have this Made in Africa section. If you click on here, you'll most likely be able to find some great projects to work on. And you're going to see a common theme with some of these projects. You have interactive messaging, messaging engine, SMS gateway, pretty much keeping people, ways of connecting people, which is extremely important to get people connected. So that's one option. If we go back here to the showcases page, if you scroll down, you also see this government app section. And within this government app section, you're going to see projects for NASA, Code for America, which is a great organization. You also see National Park Service making mapping libraries for the National Park Service. So a lot of projects that you could contribute to here. Now, something else that you might want to check out is the Mozilla volunteer page. Now, I've personally never volunteered through this site, so I have no firsthand experience with it. I just saw that it was recommended online as a way for tech people to volunteer. But if you look down here, it's pretty much exactly what we've been talking about. You can see here it says it's about learning, collaborating, and sharing your skills with a global community, coders, organizers, activists, and things like that. And you can see that if you click here, that they say that you can volunteer as much as you like or as little as you like. It's totally up to you. And if you click on Get Involved, it takes you to a page where you can be matched up with your skill set and with your interests that are most suitable for you. So I think that this looks pretty neat, and maybe it's something that I'm going to give a try in the future. And if it's something that looks interesting to you, then you should definitely give it a shot. Now, one of the last things I want to talk to you about is that if you want to be involved, but you just don't have the time to do it, then there are ways that pretty much require very little to zero effort. As software engineers and programmers, a lot of us are very fortunate to work for great companies that pay well, and that sometimes allows us to earn more money than we need for our personal needs. So if that includes you, then I would try to find a charity that is involved with causes that are close to your heart and commit to donating portions of your salary to those charities. On top of your donations, a lot of tech companies like Google and Apple and Microsoft will match donations made by their employees. So if you're somebody who's currently already donating to charities, definitely check with your employer and see if they offer a match, because you could potentially be doubling those donations, and you should definitely take advantage of that if they offer that. And there's one last thing that I wanted to talk about before wrapping this up, and this goes for anyone, not just people in the tech industry. So it's great to get excited about volunteering and doing good things in the world, but try not to overdo yourself. You're going to have the greatest impact when this becomes part of your routine and part of your daily life. You don't want this just to be a one-time thing, so if you overexert yourself, or if you put in more time than what you have available, or if what you're doing becomes more of a chore than something that fulfills you, then you're less likely to keep it up and you're less likely to try it again in the future. So I would just recommend starting slow, finding your comfort zone, and I can promise you that it's something that you'll enjoy once you get started. So that about does it for this video. There's tons of ways to get involved out there. If I missed anything, which I'm sure that I did, then just put your suggestions for getting involved in the comment section below. So I hope this video is useful for everybody, and thank you all for watching.